All right. Welcome back, people. Welcome back. I am going to be continuing my bluegills, swim baits. I have 10 on hand. I actually started, well, from the last video that people watched earlier today. We got to all of the, I guess you would call it the base coated stuff. Now we're going to start doing the detail related stuff. Something just smells like it's burning. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's the Lord's or what. No. I got some fingernail polish remover for when I'm using that chrome because it clogs the airbrush pretty badly. But we won't be doing that in this part of the tutorial or breakdown or explaining the method on how I airbrush bluegills. So what I'm doing now is dropping each lure into its rifle slot so that I can create the patterns with the scale effect. I am still on call at work, by the way, so if someone calls, I will have to step away. This thing here can only take 4 at a time. Won't be able to do all of them at once. There is 10 in total. So we'll get through this first 4 and move to the next set. Thanks. All right, just lining them up. In this instance, I kind of want them pretty tight to the metal mesh framing, just to get the detail scale pattern a lot stronger. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate you for stopping in and leaving a comment and interacting. I do these during the month of October, November, and December when I have downtime from a regular job. All right, man. Appreciate you for stopping in, man. All right, so what we're gonna do now is I don't know if any of you guys are from the original viewing from earlier today. We did our light color scheme over the top, and now we're gonna go with our dark color scheme over top of that, but inside the mesh I need to before we actually started, what I should have did before we started was make sure that I have my Bluegill pattern that looks like this but bigger. I have a bigger version of this and I just need to find it real quick, so give me a split second. I hadn't used it in a while, so I know it is close. You know what? I showed the guys this morning a pattern book, so this might be too small as well because it looks like I cut out the big one. Let me check something real quick. To my surprise, this would work, but I honestly want the next size up. So I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick, and if I can't, then I'll go with this. But it was cut out already, so that means it's around here somewhere. And it's usually right in front of my face, and I always overlook it. I could kind of get away with this here, but I want the thin lines first. Why did I put the blue tape like that? Let me see something real quick. This is humongous. Alright, that's not it. I am literally finding every scale pattern except for my bluegill one that I made. Black crappie, shell cracker, largemouth, Alright, I'm gonna have to make up something here. Put these back. It's huge. And the crazy part about it is, as soon as I am done, I am going to find that scale pattern. What I am going to do is, after I am done with this set of lures, I am going to clean this station up. Because I am finding some old stuff there. Alright, we're going to get this started. Alright, I know for sure I'm going to use these patterns here, so what we're going to do is we're going to lay this on top of this directly, and I'm going to spray right there down on it, and it's going to give me that lateral line that bluegill have, and I'm going to be doing it in a dark green. I might have to bring out the Cricut and cut out some more patterns. I was just getting ready to sell that thing. All right. How are you guys? How are you guys? Appreciate you for stopping in. So what I'm doing is, if you guys can see that, you see those lines? Because the mesh is on here, it's going to create that lateral line that looks like that versus how you see it on lures. I do appreciate the $4.99, man. So the lateral lines don't just look like a straight line down. Same to you, same to you. I'm gonna show you guys real quick. Actually, what I'm gonna do is after you put that lateral lines like that, go across the top with the same color this airbrush is not cooperating at all. And even at it maxed out, it's spraying really faint. Alright, so this F model, I'm going to have to switch to the medium to get the achieved spray out that I want. So I'm just going to stick this to the side. That airbrush ink is a little too thick for that brush, so we're going to move up, shake this real well. I miss who it was that dropped that $5 in here. I do appreciate you. All right, so this is coming out really thick, and I don't understand why. I might have to. All right, hold on 1 second. I gotta fix this issue real quick. So now that we ran into a problem, I'm going to show you guys how to fix it. This is what you want. 4011 reducer, fast reducer. How much do you put in there? I don't have an actual measurement. What I do is I base it off of the consistency of milk. I think 1 or 2 things happened. I probably left it open, and the 2 colors, or the colors themselves, did this number where the actual reducer separated from the paint and made it thick, and I didn't catch it. So what you need to do to catch it and fix that real quick, you need to put some reducer directly into your mix. You will know when it's enough if you've been doing it for a while. I don't have an actual number of how many drops I put in there just now. I'm gonna shake it up and then predetermine that from there. The thinner the better, but you don't want it ultra thin to the point where it's just coming out like water. Then that won't spray right as well either. Alright, so I gotta get this paint out of these brushes real quick. Alright, I got majority of it out. I'm gonna just test this real quick. That's a lot better. I probably could get away with using that. My F brush. What I'm doing real quick is I'm going to do a reverse pushback. It's going to bubble up in the inside. See that? Then it should spray out correctly. There we go. Alright, got that. So what we're going to do real quick is I already put the lateral lines on the one side. I'm going to also spray this side. Just right across the top. Just a little behind the eye. So you get that number. It looks like that. I'm gonna, actually what I'm gonna do is before I show you it out of the actual mesh, I'm gonna hit this other side as well with the lines and just want to align that perfectly. All right. Same set of lines. There's also two lines behind the bluegill's ear, right above its head, or right above the ear itself on its head. This stencil that I have right here is slightly small, so I'm gonna have to just fake it by sliding the stencil up itself. Next step, of course, is that green, dark green across the top, from the front of the head all the way down the back of the body. And a little bit behind the eye. Alright, I'm gonna heat set that real quick. This is kind of a test. Appreciate you for that. So what this is supposed to do when it's done across the top, you're going to get a dark scale pattern inside the green scale pattern, that light green. That's like, if you can see it, it's in the pink and stuff like that. Because I'm pretty close to it, you guys can't see it unless you pull it back in the light, and then I can see it and you can't. But with that dark green that I just did, this is what you get. So those lateral lines aren't super in your face and dark because it's being broken up by the actual stencil of the scale. Then if you look closely at the dark green, it's scale patterned on there as well, with the light green being the undertone. Now, the next step, what I'm going to do with this one, since it's out of the scale mesh thing, I am going to go over the top with the dark, right down the middle, dead center over the top, and fill that white line. So this one is not done, but it's done inside the mesh thing. So I'm going to stick another one in there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit all 4 at once to get them all squared away. There's a part that I didn't talk about on the live that I talked about on the other live. This metal mesh can take the paint off of your lower if put in improperly, but to avoid that, I use a clear coat. This doesn't save the lure from water. It's just a clear coat that is to keep it from getting scratched up. It creates a hardener just over the paint. Technically used for RC cars is what I've used it for a lot. I used to paint RC car bodies way back when, the 10 scale. I don't know if I'm pretty sure it's still a thing, but back then, the early 2000s, it was a big thing back then. Alright, so we're gonna create our lateral lines on this one here. Ah, empty. Appreciate it. Also, now that the paint itself is a lot thinner, I am kind of spraying a little ways away from the actual bait itself. You don't want to be too close. If you're too close, the paint will get behind or underneath your stencil and create a blowout, and you will literally just have dark green versus an actual scale pattern. what I'm doing is I'm lining up those lateral lines because my actual stencil is not long enough where it's that is gonna be a while, man. I do appreciate you for dropping 100 in, but that's what we got so far. I can show you an end result to a other lure that was painted in another session. That's the end result there to a juvenile trout. But let's get back to these bluegills. Different places. I just go on eBay and type in blank swim baits and they pop up. Some people send me their custom made ones, or then I order them depending on who it is. Like this is a custom made from scratch. An Arab baits is what this one's called. I myself do not have the time to create a lure from scratch at the moment. I wish I did. It would take me forever in the anticipation and then me wanting it to be perfect. I got somebody I've been talking to. I told him once I am ready, we'll get the show on the road. But as of right now, this is what's been working for me. I'm going to lay this one down because the top is too heavy. Alright, this side is done. And what it will look like when it comes out, it's like that. If you look at it closely, those lines are not perfect. They look like actual scales. They're not just a straight dark line down the body. So I'm going to heat set these on this side. All right, we're gonna go to the other side. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna do the darkness over the top first, and then the lateral line. I'm lying. I'm going to do the lateral line first. And the reason being is if I do the lateral line before or after the darkness over the top, the lateral line, it becomes, it stands out too much. That would have been all bad. Okay. All right, got the lateral lines at the top on that one. We're gonna do the next three. I'm gonna just spray them and not show you guys until the end. Gonna kind of assembly line spray these bad boys real quick. Have to make sure that it's getting down there because it is 2 layers of stencil. So it needs to be, in my mind, it needs to be bold to the point where you see it like that. Alright, so I have the lateral lines for all of them. And now I'm going to go over the top of each one with the same dark green. Alright, I'm going to heat set this. Then we're going to take all of these out. What I am going to do is do these 5 now. I'm gonna complete them. I just need to check the time real fast. Okay. All right. Good evening, sir. Somebody was talking about you earlier in the first set of live that I was doing for the Bluegill. All right, so we're going to continue. If you plan on following along to create your own, after you have created your lateral lines and your dark scale look over your light green, yeah, he was saying that you sell lures on your site. That is the outcome, guys. If you can see it, hopefully you can. I can't really tell, but if you look right above the eye, that is how the dark green over the light green looks. So now what you want to do is spray right down the center. Darkness around the eye. Over top of the head to get that look. I notice with realistic lures or fish in general, right around the eye and head area is dark to make the eye stand out. So I've been doing that for the longest. I actually do bluegill on these, and I do them in different colors, and then I also do crappie on them as well. Appreciate you, man. Everybody else kind of rolled out, but I'm going to continue to do it for the people who watch the live afterwards. All right, we're going to do this one the same, right down the middle. Around the eye, just over the top, not all the way around. Just got to set them out of the way. Okay. I've been seeing you post on Instagram. Well, when I was on there, whenever I check. I think what social media tries to do, which I don't like, is categorize fishing. So, and what I mean by that is like because I'm doing lure painting, that they're trying to stick me in a category for just lure painting. And that is something I do not like. So when I post on Instagram, my usual people who see my stuff know that I only airbrush around this time of year. The daggone social media lowers my visibility because 90% of the people that are on my actual social media, Instagram, is for micro lures and flies and stuff like that, bait finesse. So it kind of messes up my thing. Yeah, man, jump in there and do it. Or if you don't like doing it this way, voiceover works as well. But just if you do the voiceover, just add like the subtitles on the screen. Um, I got a tad bit information from someone saying that a lot of people, when they are scrolling in silence, and it's usually at night, so that they don't wake anybody up. So if you put your words on the screen, they'll stick around and read that a lot longer than just how I'm doing it right now. I am. I go to that every year. If you're talking about the one here in Harrisburg, I most definitely am. Are you in the area? All right. So now that we got that, the next step on this is we're gonna do yellow underneath here to almost where the fin ends, or where the fin does a break, where it cuts, jots up. I'm gonna stop the yellow right in that area. So we're gonna spray that underbelly of all of them with a yellow. First, I need to clean this brush, this heavy. What brush do you use? Oh, okay, all right. So you're not too far from me. I did a tournament this year, and that was one of the spots that I actually fished and zeroed out. Didn't catch a thing. Are you from Pennsylvania? Gotcha. I thought about getting a water airbrush, but um, I ended up taking the other route mainly because the guy who showed me how to airbrush, he used iWata, and I wanted to just use something different and tried my hardest to make it work, and they work. It's just that iWata has that little mixing thing on the front that I like, that I wish that other companies would do. What I mean by that little mixing thing, you can take your finger and put it over your front of your brush and mix colors right in the cap without pricking yourself. I have a Omni 5000. I think this might be Badger, but it didn't cost that much. But it has that fake cap on the front. The thing about it is you could still see the needle sticking out of there slightly. Yes, it is a really nice. It is a really nice brush. If the bottom end had quick release on it, I would have got it. And I think I might get it. That might be my next brush. I might get rid of one of my extremes here. So I have two extremes, three extremes. I don't need all of those. Oh, so you don't do the mixing. I like to mix inside the cap, especially that gold to greenish look. It does make for a finer line too when you're spraying like that. Yeah, that's what I have to do with this. Is I take the Q-tip and put it on the head to make the mix, make it mix. This is the boring part, people. If you're watching this after the live, cleaning a brush to get to the next color, especially when it's a light color, or yeah, light color coming from dark. You do not want that darkness in your brush. It will ruin the next color. Yeah, only like I was saying in the other live earlier today, I only use stencils for bluegill and sometimes the crappie pattern. And now, of course, the juvenile rainbow trout. All right, we got that cleaned out there. We are now gonna do the yellow underneath. No scale pattern with this. All right. That's the yellow underbelly scheme that we're going to go with. Oh, that's when you use your stencil. Gotcha. So, yep, what I'm doing now is just spraying under belly yellow. You'll see why in a split second. With the yellow, you can go as dark as you like. so that I'm not wasting my yellow, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the ones that I haven't messed with the yellow on the bottom as well. Appreciate it. I'm what you don't see is you're inside the booth technically. I have the booth. I bought it 14 years ago. You are inside the booth. But because this room is well ventilated, I have a reverse fan here and then a push fan here. So that's the reason why it's pretty cold in here. Yep. And I have some lights going across there. I keep forgetting to